Hello, my name is Mendon Thomas, and I am the epidemiologist who produced the 2022 Defiance County Health Equity Report. I work for an organization called Public Health Services Council of Ohio, where I work with Fulton, Defiance, Williams, and Putnam County. I enjoy collecting and analyzing data so that we can better understand how different environmental, socioeconomic, and health-related factors might affect different populations of people. I hope this report is educational and can be used for purposes to better the health and well-being of individuals throughout Defiance County. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about this presentation or have interest in collaborating on future projects. Two of my other research interests are chronic diseases and oncology-related topics, but I would love to hear your ideas. This report contains data and information from 2016 through 2020 unless otherwise noted. The following topics of relevance to health equity in Defiance County, Ohio are included: population and income characteristics, poverty rates, educational attainment, housing and disability characteristics, employment rates, health insurance coverage, food assistance programs, mortality and leading causes of death, and cancer incidence. First of all, it is important to understand the difference between equity and equality. Equality is when individuals are all given the exact same resources and opportunities. The first figure displays this nicely by showing all three people having equal-sized ladders, although the smallest person still cannot see over the fence. Equity is when everyone has a fair opportunity to attain his or her full potential, and that no one is disadvantaged from achieving this potential. Health equity is influenced by factors such as employment, housing, transportation, education, socioeconomic status, food access, and more. Equity recognizes that not everyone starts from the same place, but that everyone deserves to get to the finish line. The second figure displays this concept by showing all three people having different size ladders, so each of them are able to see over the fence. This slide shows us how the data was categorized for this report. Table 1 displays each census tract number in Defiance County, along with the respective census tract names and total population sizes. The bottom two figures give the reader an idea of the outline of each census tract and township in Defiance County. One thing to note is that 4 census tracts, North, South, East, and West Defiance, are all located in close proximity in the city of Defiance. This slide gives us some good information on the population characteristics in Defiance County. First of all, I think it is very important to note that there are 3 different sources on population size that are used in this report, which give slightly different population sizes for Defiance County. For example, the total population based on the April 1st, 2020 decennial census is 38,286. When looking at 2020 American Community Survey 5-year estimates data profiles, the population size comes to 38,024. Lastly, the total population based on July 1st, 2021 estimates on the United States Census Bureau, the population size is 38,144. Overall, the population size of Defiance County is a little over 38,000. On the Health Equity Report document, all of the sources used for each topic are included on every page and are listed on the reference page as well. I feel that it is very important to note these differences in case there is any confusion as to why data might not be exactly the same throughout the report. Also on this slide, Figure 4 has the Defiance County population broken up by age range. This data is taken from the 2020 American Community Survey 5-year estimates. It shows us that the largest population size by age range in Defiance County are those aged 55 to 59 years, while the lowest population size are those aged 80 to 84 years. Another interesting point is that of those aged 85 years and older, there are over twice as many females as there are males. Overall, when considering all of the data, there are slightly more females than males in Defiance County. This slide gives us an idea of the race and ethnicity population characteristics in Defiance County. Looking at Table 2, we see that 94% of the Defiance County population identifies with one race only. Figure 5 above Table 2 breaks down the one race category into specific races and ethnicities. 94% of the population identifies as white, 2% of the population identifies as Black or African American, 5.8% of the population identifies with two races only, and less than 1% of the population identifies with more than two races. Figure 6 shows us that census tracts 9582 and 9584 have the smallest number of Hispanic residents in Defiance County. Census tracts 9587, South Defiance, and 9588, East Defiance, have the largest number of Hispanic residents in Defiance County at 735 residents each. Census tract 9588 also has the smallest total population size, indicating that it has the largest Hispanic population in the whole county. The next few slides will address income characteristics in Defiance County and in Ohio. Figure 7 on the left side of the slide shows us that 18.4% of households in Ohio have an income between $50,000 and $74,999 per year. It also shows us that 25.2% of households have an income of $100,000 or more, which is 1/4 of households in total in Ohio. Additionally, we see that 11% of households in Ohio have an income at poverty level, which is less than $14,999 per year. Figure 8 on the right side of the slide gives us information specifically for the median household incomes by census tract in Defiance County. This figure tells us that census tract 9581, or Jewel, has the highest household median income at $92,286 per year. Census tract 9585 has the lowest median income at $44,694. The median income in 9581 is more than double the income in 9585, indicating that 9585 has one of the poorest income outcomes in Defiance County. Overall, Defiance County has a median household income at $62,110, which is higher than the Ohio median income at $54,533 per year. The previous slide went through median household incomes, but this slide will go through median family income and median non-family household income. In Figure 9, we see that census tract 9581, or Jewel, has a median family income of $106,094, which is over $30,000 more than the Defiance County median income at $73,260 and Ohio at $69,837. Census tract 9586, or West Defiance, has a median family income at $51,168, which is half of census tract 9581. In Figure 10, we are looking at non-family household income, which indicates one or more people living together who are not related. An example of this would be college students renting a house together. We see that census tract 9581 has the highest median non-family household income at $45,341, while census tract 9585, North Defiance, and 9586, West Defiance, have the lowest. Median non-family household income in Defiance County is at $34,120, which is also similar to Ohio at $31,989. It is also slightly lower than the United States median at $39,027. Overall, non-family household income is significantly less than family income and household income in Defiance County. This report has some very significant data when it comes to poverty rates in Defiance County. Poverty level is defined as having an annual income of $13,590 or less for one individual and adding $4,720 for additional household members. Figure 11 displays poverty rates by census tract in Defiance County. The widest bars on the graph indicate the largest poverty rates. Overall, 10% of the Defiance County population is at or below poverty level. Census tract 9586, West Defiance, has the highest poverty level percent at 25%, followed by 9588 East Defiance at 18.1% and 9585 North Defiance at 18%. Census Tract 9582, Farmer and Ney, has the lowest poverty level percent at 3.7%. In regards to all data across Ohio, we see that 13.6% of the state's population is living in poverty. Figure 12 looks into poverty more specifically with data on children living in poverty. In Census Tract 9588, East Defiance, 77.9% of children 5 years and younger are living in poverty. In 9586, West Defiance, 77% of children 5 years and younger are living in poverty. No children under 5 years are living in poverty in Census Tracts 9584, 9587, and 9589. Comparing this data to Ohio, we see that in Ohio, 21.8% of children under 5 and 18.1% of children 5 to 17 years are living in poverty. The percent of children living in poverty in several census tracts in Defiance County is very alarming and should be investigated further. Educational attainment is an important aspect of society and the economy for a number of reasons. As individuals attain an education, including graduating high school, the probability of employment increases. Additionally, when individuals have a greater education, it allows them to demand higher wages. In Defiance County, Figure 13 shows census tracts 9586, West Defiance, and 9587, South Defiance, having the highest population percent of those with bachelor's degrees or higher at 21.7% and 22% respectively. Census tracts 9588, East Defiance, and 9584, Mark Center and Sherwood, have the lowest population percent of those with bachelor's degrees or higher at 15.1% and 15.7% respectively. Overall, 18.4% of Defiance County has a bachelor's degree or higher, which is significantly lower than the Ohio percent at 28.8% and the United States 32.9% populations. This slide goes through some employment and unemployment statistics from 2016 through 2020 in Defiance County. I want to note that the first figure, figure 15, includes data of those who are 16 years and over and who are also in the labor force, whereas figure 16 includes those 16 years and over in total. It is not specific for those only in the labor force. Of the total individuals in Defiance County that are 16 years and over in the labor force, 4.4% are unemployed. Census Tract 9588, East Defiance, has the highest unemployment rate at 8.7%. Census Tract 9589, Ayersville, has the lowest unemployment rate at 1.8%. In Ohio and the United States, 5.8% and 5.9% of people in the labor force are unemployed. As mentioned, these percentages were calculated from individuals only in the labor force, not the total population 16 and older. In Figure 16, of 19,922 individuals in Defiance County that are 16 years and over, 62.6% are employed. Census Tract 9581, Jewel, has the highest employment rate at 68.8%. Overall, Defiance County has a significantly higher employment rate than Ohio at 59.7% and the United States at 59.6%. Health insurance coverage is a major factor when considering the health equity of a population. This type of data can give insight into why certain communities have more diseases, either infectious or chronic, or why they may not see a dentist or primary care provider often. Public health officials and healthcare providers can use this information to better understand and help alleviate healthcare disparities among populations and even entire communities. This will ultimately lead to better health outcomes, which is what should be the primary focus. In Figure 17, we see that in Ohio, 6.2% of the population is without any health insurance, while 93.8% have some form of insurance, either private or public. However, the primary type of insurance in Ohio and also in the United States is private coverage at 69.3% and 68.1%. Now, in Defiance County, 75.5% of the population with insurance has private coverage, which is more than the total percent in Ohio and the United States. When looking at data for public health insurance, the United States, Ohio, and Defiance County all have similar statistics for population public health coverage at 35.3%, 37.3%, and 35% respectively. Figure 18 shows that in Defiance County as a whole, 6.5% of the population does not have any type of health insurance. In Census Tract 9584, Mark Center and Sherwood, only 2% of the population is without insurance, while in Census Tract 9582, Farmer and Ney, 15.3% of the population is without any insurance. This is a very significant difference between not only these two census tracts, but also between the rest of the census tracts in Defiance County. This means that Farmer and Ney have much higher numbers of people without any health insurance. Looking at data from the entire United States, 8.7% of the population is without insurance, which is a little more than Defiance County as a whole. The table at the bottom, again, displays Farmer and Ney having the highest population percent in Defiance County without health insurance and one of the lowest percents with public health insurance. It can also be seen that West and East Defiance have the lowest population percent with private health coverage. Food assistance programs help those who are experiencing food insecurity, especially households with children, to have nutritious diets and the ability to grow physically and cognitively without negative impact. Table 4 shows us that North, East, and West Defiance have significantly higher percentages of total households receiving food stamps than other census tracts in Defiance County. In each of those three census tracts, about 1 in 5 households receive food stamps. Figure 19 displays interesting data categorizing the income levels of those who are currently enrolled in food assistance programs. In Defiance County and in the United States, 54.1% of households receiving food stamps had an income at or above poverty level, compared to households in Ohio at 47.5%. Looking at this graph, there appears to be a higher percent of households receiving food stamps that have incomes at or above poverty level than below poverty level. However, in Census Tract 9581, Jewel, 61.1% of households receiving food stamps had an income below poverty level. This slide also displays data in Figure 20 for households receiving food stamps who have children. In Defiance County, there are 1,588 households out of 15,385 that receive food stamps. 886 of the 1,588 households, or 55.8%, have children under 18 years. In Census Tract 9586, West Defiance, 77.7% of households receiving food stamps have children under 18 years. In Census Tract 9582, Farmer and Ney, 74.4% of households receiving food stamps have children. In the United States and Ohio, 49.2% and 45.7% of households receiving food stamps have children under 18. Overall, Defiance County has a greater percent of households with children receiving food stamps when compared to the U.S. and Ohio. This data for several Defiance County populations is overwhelmingly significant and should be evaluated further. This slide goes over two specific housing characteristics in Defiance County that can be helpful when determining the overall health equity of populations. Figure 21 shows us the median gross rent by census tract. Gross rent is the full amount of money paid per month to a landlord as determined in a lease. The median gross rent is determined by standard distributions and calculating a middle data point where half of the data points are below and half are above. In Defiance County, the median rent is lowest in Census Tract 9582 at $614 per month. The median rent is highest in Census Tract 9581 and 9589 at $1,078 and $963 respectively. Overall, the median rent in Defiance County is $741 per month, which is less than the Ohio median of $825 per month. And it is also more than the United States median of $1,096 per month. Figure 22 shows us that census tracts 9581, 9582, and 9589 have the highest percent of homeowners at 95.4%, 95.3%, and 90.5% respectively. Census tract 9586 has the lowest percent of homeowners at 55.7% and also the third highest gross rent costs in Defiance County. Overall, Defiance County has a home ownership rate at 77.5%, which is significantly greater than Ohio at 66.3% and the United States at 64.4%. This slide goes over 3 additional factors not mentioned elsewhere in this report that can contribute to the health equity of an individual or a population. First, figure 23 shows disability percent by census tract. A disability is considered a physical or mental condition that limits an individual's movements, daily activities, or senses. Census tract 9585, North Defiance, has the highest percent of people with disabilities at 16.9%, followed by Census tract 9588, East Defiance, at 16.2%. Overall, 12% of the Defiance County population has a disability, which is similar to the United States at 12.7%, but lower than Ohio at 14%. Figure 24 displays the percent of occupied housing units that do not have an available vehicle. In Census Tract 9586, West Defiance, 10.8% of occupied housing units do not have an available vehicle, while in Defiance County as a whole, 5.2% of occupied housing units do not have a vehicle. In Census Tract 9589, Ayersville, almost no occupied housing units at 0.2% are without a vehicle. 7.8% of all occupied housing units in Ohio and 8.5% in the United States do not have a vehicle. Figure 25 displays the percent of workers 16 years and over living in households with no available vehicle. In Census Tract 9585, North Defiance, 7.6% of workers 16 years and older live in a household with no available vehicle. This is significantly higher than other census tracts in Defiance County, which all fall under 4.2%. When considering other data in this report, North Defiance also has the second highest unemployment rate of those 16 years older in the labor force at 8%, and the second highest percent of households receiving food stamps at 20.3%. In the United States and in Ohio, 4.2% and 3% of workers 16 years and older live in a household with no available vehicle. Birth data gives great information about a population as far as fertility, growth, teenage pregnancies, reproductive health, population trends, and more. This slide contains a few statistics on the number of births in the past 12 months in Defiance County. This data is from 2016 through 2020 and was obtained from the United States Census Bureau. Because this information was collected over 5 years, and it is measuring the number of births in the past 12 months, the numbers shown are averages. Figure 26 shows us that Census Tract 9581, Jewel, had the lowest number of total births at 11, and all births were to mothers aged 35 to 39 years. Census Tract 9589, Ayersville, had the highest number of births at 106, and all births were to mothers either aged 25 to 29 years or 35 to 39 years. Census Tract 9586, West Defiance, had 5 births to mothers aged 40 to 44 years. In Defiance County, all the teen pregnancy births were in Census Tract 9588, or East Defiance. Overall, Census Tract 9588 had significantly more births from women aged 15 to 24 years than any other census tract. Figure 27, we see that in the past 12 months, Defiance County had a total of 582 births. 265 of the births were to mothers aged 25 to 29 years. This age group makes up 45.5% of the births. There were no births to women aged 45 to 50 years and only 5 births to women aged 40 to 44 years. Teen pregnancies make up between 2% and 3% of births in Defiance County and also in the United States, but over 3% in Ohio. The mortality section of the Health Equity Report discusses factors such as leading causes of death and age-adjusted death rates. In total, there were 2,131 deaths in Defiance County from 2016 through 2020, with 2020 having the highest number of deaths. Something that comes to mind when looking at 2020 data is COVID-19. Before 2020, we really did not have any deaths from COVID-19, so 70 deaths were technically added, in a sense, to the leading causes of death. This reason for the higher number of deaths in 2020 is not confirmed, it's a speculation. Furthermore, heart disease is the #1 cause of death in not only Defiance County, but in the entire United States. Malignant neoplasms or cancer are also the second leading cause of death in Defiance County and in the United States. The following page will address further cancer statistics in Defiance County. It is also important to define not a leading cause that is used in Figure 28. Not a leading cause is how deaths are coded in the database when they do not fit into one of the leading cause categories, such as accidents or malignant neoplasms. Sometimes death occurs from more rare causes that are then grouped together, forming the not a leading cause category. Figure 29 on the slide shows us the age-adjusted death rates of not only Defiance County, but other Northwest counties in Ohio. Age-adjusted death rate is a measure that adjusts for differences in diverse age distributions in a population per 100,000 residents. From 2016 through 2020, Defiance County had the second highest age-adjusted death rate for females at 715.2 per 100,000 individuals, and the second lowest for males at 963.8 per 100,000 individuals, when compared to the 5 nearby counties in Ohio. Across all 5 years, the age-adjusted death rate for males is significantly higher than for females. This slide goes into more specific data for cancer incidence in Defiance County. Figure 30 shows us from 2016 through 2020, there were 1,258 total cancer diagnoses. 2018 had the highest number of cancer diagnoses at 284, followed by 2017 at 273. Overall, there were roughly the same number of cancer diagnoses in males at 627 and females at 632 over the 5-year time frame. It is important to note that data in this report may differ from the current warehouse database, as data from 2020 is still periodically updated. Figure 31 shows us that from 2016 through 2020, zip code 43512 had the highest number of cancer diagnoses. Zip code 43512 encompasses census tracts 9585, 9586, 9587, and 9588 in the city of Defiance. This zip code makes up the largest population size in Defiance County, which explains the higher cancer incidence. Lastly, the data collected for this report tells us what the top 5 cancer types are in Defiance County, for both males and females. Overall, males and females share 3 out of the 5 top cancer sites: lung cancer, colon and rectal cancer, and melanoma. These types are also the top types of cancer in the whole United States. This table compares the Defiance County health equity related data that is covered in this report to the data from the United States, Ohio, and 3 other nearby northwestern Ohio counties: Fulton County, Putnam County, and Williams County. There are a few numbers in red which represent the poorest outcomes in Defiance County when compared only to the 3 other Ohio counties mentioned. When compared to the 3 other counties, Defiance County has the highest unemployment percent and the highest percent of individuals without any health insurance coverage. The last figure in this report, figure 32, displays area deprivation indexes of census blocks in each census tract within Defiance County. The area deprivation index gives information into how each area is functioning in terms of inequities and disparities. We can use this map along with the rest of the data throughout this report to understand overall needs in each census tract and to follow specific trends over the years. We can see that Census Tract 9581, or Jewel, has the least disadvantaged groups. This is indicated by the blue shading on the Area Deprivation Index map. Census Tracts 9582, 9589, and 9584 have low to moderate disadvantaged groups, depending on the specific city or town in the census tract. The entire area of Census Tract 9583 is shown to have moderate disadvantaged groups based on the yellow to orange shading. Overall, the smallest geographical census tracts in Defiance, 9588, 9587, 9586, and 9585 have the most disadvantaged groups. This is indicated by the orange and red shading. In conclusion, this Defiance County Health Equity Report provides updated data and information from 2016 through 2020 on social, environmental, and economic factors that may be impacting the health of individuals or different populations in Defiance County, Ohio. This report also aims to provide detailed information which can be applied to current and future programs in Defiance County.